My name is Michele Galasso. I am a second year PhD student in Artyom Maganov's group, and today I will show you how to install USPEX 10.3, which is the last version that you can find on our website. So, as you can see, I just entered the supercomputer of our group. I extracted USPEX 10.3. Now I cd into this folder to see the files. Here I open the README file, so we'll just follow the instruction as in the README. Before this, you have a few instructions about requirements, MATLAB in particular and Python. I already did it before, and it's also very easy to do by yourself. It depends on your machine. Now we can install USPEX then by typing install.sh, and this is the menu of the installation. So we type 2 for terminal installation. We agree with USPEX conditions and with MATLAB conditions. Installation path will be my home folder. USPEX 10.3. So this folder does not exist, but it will be created automatically by the installation program. So now it is installing. Let's wait a little bit. Okay, so now the installation program finished to install USPEX on our machine. Let's check what we need to do afterwards. So we need to change permission on some folder. I will just copy this line and cd back in my home directory. Now we have the installation folder USPEX 10.3 and paste this command. Instead of installation path of USPEX, I just write USPEX 10.3. Nice. The next step is to set up some variables, environmental variables, and they should be already in our bash.rc file because we choose terminal installation and they should be added automatically. So let's check it. Yeah, at the end of our bash.rc, we have few lines which were added by USPEX 10.3. So just save it, and now we can source it to make the change effective. Now if we type USPEX -h, we will get some lines which will help us to understand which are the options of the USPEX command. So USPEX has been correctly installed in our system. Now that we have it, I can show you how to run an example calculation. So let's go into our USPEX 10.3 folder, application, archive, examples. And if you ls here, you will find a lot of different examples. They are quite high-level calculations. You have also a reference folder with the results of each example which have been already done, already obtained by the USPEX developers. And my suggestion, if you are not familiar with USPEX yet, if you need to run a calculation, just look at the examples, find the example which is most similar to the calculation you want to do, and try to run it. If you successfully run it, then you can change the input files and put there the system that you need to study. And in this way, you will be less likely to make mistakes, for sure. So the example which I will show you is example 2. I open the folder, and here we have 4 files. Well, 2 files and 2 folders. The first file is a bash script. Let's have a look at it. So what does it do? It sleeps for 5 minutes, and then it records the date in a log file, and it calls the command uspex -r, which means run uspex, also with the output redirected into the log files, sleeps for 5 minutes, and does this again and again, forever. So we can actually remove the first sleep so that it will start uspex straight away, and save and exit. Now, the input file. First of all, what is this calculation? This is, it will be more clear from the input. This is magnesium, aluminum, oxygen with 4 magnesium atoms in the unit cell, 8 aluminum atoms, and 16 oxygen atoms, in which we will try to find the most stable structures with this composition. So calculation method is USPEX, calculation type is 300, in which 3 means 3 dimensions, 0 means crystal, not molecule, and the last 0 means fixed composition, not variable composition. Autofrac is 1, which means that the variation operators will be automatically tuned by an internal algorithm in USPEX, so to increase convergence, to speed up convergence actually. All the explanation of these keywords you can find in the USPEX manual. Just use the search function and they will appear with the explanation. Op type 1 means that we optimize energy. Then, as I said, atom types in the unit cell and how many atoms for each type. We will do 40 structures in each generation for maximum 60 generations. And if for 30 generations in a row we have the same candidate as best structure, then we will stop our evolutionary run, and so on. Fraction of variation operators. Ab initio code is 3 means that we will use gulp for structure relaxation, and this is the command for running gulp. This will be a calculation in which we relax one structure at a time. We will not relax structures in parallel. So we choose 0 because we don't need, for which cluster, because we don't need job submission. And we have 100 gigapascal of external pressure. So since we use gulp, just save and exit. Since we use gulp, let's see if we have gulp in this supercomputer. Actually, there seems to be no gulp. What I need to do is to load the module of gulp because it's already installed in this system. It just needs to be loaded. Of course, on your machine, if you don't have it, you need to install it. And I remind you to the gulp website for this. For me, I need to load it, gulp 4.5. So that when USPEX will type the gulp command, it will find it in this specific location. Finally, reference is, as I said, the results of this calculation, which has already been done by USPEX people before. And specific, you have 4 G input files and 4 G option files. And those G input and G option are the input files for gulp relaxation. So in 4 steps, as it was written in the input file, structure will be relaxed with gulp, with the parameters in these files. We can open it just out of curiosity. So here you have in the G input the parameters for the interactions between different atomic types. And in the G options, you have some keywords which are gulp keywords. So I remind to gulp documentation for understanding all these keywords and the ones that you need for your calculation. That's all. So now we can run USPEX. And a suggestion which I can do, which I can give you, is to use the screen command to run this script. Because if we run just USPEX -r, USPEX will run and it will check what's in this folder. If there is an already going calculation, it will continue this calculation. If, as in this case, there is no calculation, then it will set up and start the calculation. So this USPEX -r needs to be run a lot of times until the calculation is done. That's why we need the script for running it every 5 minutes forever. Until we don't see that it's done and we stop it. So since the calculation can take a lot of time, we can use screen to open a new terminal. We are in the same folder, and here we can run the execution script. So now this is running. Here we have already a submission folder and a log file, and we can follow the log file with tail -f log. So for now we have only the date, and USPEX it's actually running. Why we use screen? We use screen because we would like to let this calculation run on our cluster for maybe a lot of time. Some calculations can take months or just a few hours. And when we log out from our cluster, we don't want the calculations to stop. So if we will launch the daemon, the bash script from the main command line, then when we log out, this job will be killed. Instead, from screen, this will continue to run, even if we log out and then log in after some time. So you see that USPEX is running. Let's wait a little bit to see the output. Yes, it's building structures. So you see that 40 structures now will be built, first with space group and then with topology, because you have two different algorithms for generating structures in USPEX, symmetric random and topological random. You can read about this in the documentation. It's quite interesting, actually. So what you need to do to know now is that some random candidates for the first population are being created. And now all those 40 candidates will be relaxed with GULP. GULP is a quite fast code. It uses pseudo-potentials. So you see that structure 1 has already been relaxed. Structure 2 has already been relaxed. Now it's relaxing structure 3, and so on. After all 40 structures will be relaxed, then some of them, the best in energy, will be used for building the next population, and some of them will be discarded. And as you know, the evolutionary algorithm will continue. So this is running. We can log out. We can log back in. We can go into our folder. Follow the log file, and you see that this is still running. Now structure 6. Now structure 7, and so on. So this will take quite a while. You can log out, and actually we can log in. No, sorry. Let's leave this as it is, and I can open a copy of this folder on my local machine, because here I have graphical interface, so I cannot show you results as I want on the cluster. So here you have a lot of files which are generated by USPEX in output. Just to give you a taste, I can show you one of them, best individuals. So for each generation, here you have which is the best candidate to the ground state, which has been found by USPEX. Scrolling down, we have only 48 generations, and we asked for 60. So it means that in the last 30, the same candidate was the ground state. And as you can see, in the last 30 generations, the energy is the same, volume is the same, everything is the same, so we have the same structure. And in this way, the evolutionary algorithm stopped. And if you will let the calculation which I just started run until the end, most probably you will find something very similar to those files. It's a good exercise actually to conclude this calculation and then to compare the files. Since the algorithm is stochastic, the first candidates of course will be different, but the ground state that will be found by USPEX should be the same. So it's exercise for you to check this. That's what I wanted to say, so good luck with USPEX.